first to Kate Fagan, please.
Well, listen, being on this show has been a privilege and a platform, and I know it's my last time on it, and I want to say something worthy of that privilege and platform, and that is this, that trans kids deserve to play sports. Think about what you remember from your time playing sports. Like 99% of it is finding that jersey for the first time, your favorite number, community, joy, those high fives. It's that moment when you have a great play with a teammate. It's the feeling of belonging, and it does not know gender. And trans kids deserve that the same as everybody else does. And Tony, this space has, on Around the Horn, it's been about diversity and inclusion and lifting up new voices, because sports is joy and sports is humanity. And the more people who have that, the better. And Tony, I love you. So thanks for having me back on.
Okay, thank you for that. Jemele Hill, now, please, your face.
That's a very tough statement to follow, but well said, Kate. I want to talk about belonging, and the way this show made me feel as if I was part of a community. Being at ESPN, as we all know, working there, it could be a fight for real estate, it could be a fight to be heard, but this show never let me feel that way. It's been an important part in the trajectory of my career, and so I just, again, want to echo that love. Tony, you're an amazing person. You're one of the best people I've ever met, and also want to give a shout out to Aaron Solomon and to Josh Bard and to all the people, and Miriam, all the people who work behind the scenes who make this show go.
Wow, what a surprise. I didn't see this coming, which is why I created an unofficial top 10 Around the Horn moments. Number 10, Mina Kimes' meltdown when Shohei went to the Angels. Number 9, Izzy calling Josh Rosen the next Dan Marino. Number 8, every time the show talked women's sports when others didn't. Number 7, every time Pablo incorrectly picked a 16 seed over a 1. Number 6, every time someone complained about the scoring. Number 5, every time Plaschke incorrectly said it's over, especially the time the Cubs won the World Series. Number 4, Woody choking on confetti after his 300th win. Number 3, Tony recreating the Goodfellas shot. Number 2, Halloween shows, especially Tim, Woody, and Kevin, David's Cat Williams, every character Izzy ever did. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention Moira Rose.
The FaceTime is yours.
Thank you, Tone. I appreciate it. Bam Adebayo of the Heat recently said, if you don't know about Heat culture, you've never been in it, you don't get it. Same thing with Around the Horn, the culture you guys built here. Thank you for allowing me on those Halloween shows 3 straight years. Go to my Instagram and Twitter. You'll see a video Tony sent me on before my first show. And I'll finish with a band phrase. At the end of the day, Tony, it's been an honor and a pleasure for all of us.
Jen Lada, please, the FaceTime is now yours.
As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be on Around the Horn. Taking some liberties with the Goodfellas quote, I know, but it's true. I remember being a 20-year-old watching the show in my apartment every afternoon, and I believe I hold the distinction of being the last panelist to join the show. Shows, people, stories, those are parts. The soul is Tony and this crew who have always led with kindness, compassion, curiosity, and camaraderie. This community is the soul of the show. It has been a pleasure to be on.
Evan Clark, FaceTime now yours.
I was thinking as I was driving in today what the high school version of myself would think eating my mom's chicken parm on a couch in Orlando, Florida, watching this show if he saw that I was on this show now or the last 2 years. It's been a special journey, one of the great highlights of my life. The photo of Teddy being able to watch my first episode is something I'll cherish forever. My parents going to a sports bar in Orlando to watch every episode together. I love this show. Thank you, everybody.
David Dennis Jr. now, FaceTime.
Tony Reali, I wish I had a proper, some entertaining way to say this. This is about you. I love you. You're one of the best people I've ever known, one of the kindest guys I've ever known. You make me a better person. You make me a better dad. And even though our time here is limited, we know it's unlimited, Tony. The salad and breadsticks at Olive Garden, buddy. Every time next time I see you, we can go have a nice Italian slice, buddy. You and me.
I can't mute you. I'm not going to mute your final FaceTime. There it is. Marcel Louis-Jacques, 18 seconds. Tell us everything.
You know, Tony, they say don't meet your heroes, but for the past 2 years, my past 2 years on this show has proven that that's really not always the case. Even from that initial phone call and text from you, it never felt like you were prepping me for the show or teaching me how to be successful. It truly felt like you were welcoming me in, like you were excited to have me. You wanted to have me here. And that's what it's been for the past 2 years. Even Bomani, this is the first time I've ever gotten to speak to Bomani in person, but he messaged me after my first show to see how I was feeling and see what I thought of that day. And I just want to thank everybody involved for having me, for making me feel welcome. I'm going to miss all of you, man. I'm going to miss this show.
Emily Kaplan, FaceTime now yours.
Well, I think it's obvious what this opportunity and this platform meant for my career, and I'm forever grateful to be included in this family. But it's the people behind the scenes that have worked so tirelessly to help us. Josh, Jeff, Caroline, Tierney, Aaron, JD, Miriam, everyone in the control room that worked so hard every day to allow us to shine. And on this show, we're always talking about what makes a good team. Are they a good team? If it's Game 7, that's the team I want to go to battle with. They're all rock stars.
Bill Barnwell, FaceTime.
You know, I was nervous when I first got on this show, and there was a moment that changed things for me. I gave some stats, some nerd thing, and Tony looked at me and said, "Is that right?" And that is that right is the moment that stuck with me throughout this entire show. First moment I felt like I had my legs. Every time I get an "is that right" from Tony Reali, I feel like I've done something right. So hopefully you find someone in your life who's as caring and loving as Tony Reali, and something that he does makes you as happy as when Tony says, "Is that right" to me.
Is that right? Okay, sure. Hey, Bomani Jones, please, now. FaceTime is yours.
Hey, look, man, I showed up and nobody said out loud who the hell does he think he is, but I definitely saw it on their faces, and I appreciate the following people for waiting long enough for me to answer that question. Bill Plaschke, J.A. Adande, Tim Cowlishaw, Kevin Blackistone, Jackie MacMullan, Bob Ryan, and maybe the two most important figures on this show, Woodrow Wilson Page Jr. and Tony Reali. Now, if you don't mind me talking about myself for a little while.
I told you, he's the man who invented the bells.
The people's champion is still here. We are still swanging and banging and panking, rang, kanging, even if I can't find the ring no more. Thank you for changing my life and the lives of many of us.
First to Harry Lyles, FaceTime, please.
Tony, I have wanted to do this show since I was 9 years old. I just wanted to thank my mom, dad, sister, brother, Josh. Thank you for that phone call in 2019. My uncle Carl and Aunt Edith, I'm going to miss your text messages after the show. The rest of my friends and family in Evansville, Indiana, I love you guys. Whitney Medworth, Jessica Smetana, Alex Kirshner, Matt Gilbert, Ferruccio Jaquan, Tababi, Marissa Tayo, I love you guys. My therapist, if you are struggling with mental health, please keep fighting. I am rooting for you. Aaron Solomon and Eric Rydholm, thank you guys for giving me a chance. Tony, thank you for your friendship and support, especially in times when I could not speak for myself. I am forever indebted to this show and you guys, and I promise you, I will continue to pay it forward.
Mina Kimes, FaceTime.
That was beautiful, Harry. I just want to say something about Tony Reali. Everybody always talks about how kind Tony is and how he cares about things bigger than sports. I want to say something else. Tony is the biggest ball knower I have ever met. His ability to talk about literally every sport, whether it's women's basketball, hockey, baseball, or the sport I cover, football, is unparalleled and a testament to both his work and his passion and intelligence. Tony, I just want people to recognize that when they talk about you. Also, the Mariners are winning the World Series this year.
Michael Smith, FaceTime.
Mahalia Jackson saying that if I could help somebody as I travel along, then my living will not be in vain. This show has helped a lot of people. Harry spoke to it a second ago. You guys are an institution. You showed up for people every day at 5 o'clock Eastern. People could count on you. People, you brighten days. People that you never met, that maybe never got a chance to reach out and express themselves, but I know I speak for them. And I know that this show literally changed the course of my career and therefore changed my life. And this show and this staff and this group has always shown up for me. It was there for me at the most difficult point in my career. You insisted, Tony, that I sit in your chair. And so this show, you know, it will never be forgotten. You guys have a lot to be proud of, and I'm grateful for just being a part of this family.
Justin Tinsley, FaceTime.
Over the last 4 years that I've been on this show, I've been blessed to accomplish a lot of great things, books, podcasts, but most importantly, my beautiful wife, Jade, and my two beautiful kids, Huey and Veda. Also going through some tough times with my mother and my grandmother passing away this year, but each step of the way, this show has been there with me. I thank you so much for what you've done for me, not just professionally, but personally as well. And some people may feel that this show lost its way, but I can tell you one thing, this show helped me find mine, and this show helped so many other people find their own way. God bless Around the Horn. God bless anybody and everybody who's ever watched this show and supported this show. I love you from the bottom of my heart.
First up, Pablo Torre.
Yeah. Tony is a guest on my show this week. We spent an hour together. My feelings and emotions will be there. This is for the math. I have just been informed by Caroline, our statistician, that I am officially Tony, it chokes me up to say this. I have the lowest points per show average in the history of Around the Horn, thanks to you today. And I love it. I love that my win total is 137.75. I love that I went from Alex Smith man to morning Around the Horn with the real Alex Smith yesterday. Yeah. I love this family. I love that this doesn't feel real yet, because I expect to do this for a very long time still in my heart, in my bones. I love you guys.
138.75. That is his final number, actually. Courtney Cronin, FaceTime, please.
One of my favorite things about Around the Horn is that it took sports reporters all across the country and gave them an opportunity to talk about their teams from their city on the national stage. Like when this show was just getting started, I was a middle schooler arguing with my friends about who we were more upset with after the 2003 NLDS Game 6. Was it Steve Bartman or was it Alex S. Gonzalez? For the last 3 years, I've had a chance to put on for a place that means so much to me in the city of Chicago, and I've gotten to give a piece of my home to the viewers of Around the Horn, and I'm so grateful for that.
Clinton Yates, FaceTime.
When I first met Tony Reali, he wasn't even the show host of this program, but he used to come on my college radio program where I used to watch this show with my buddies, Cox, Kyle, Paulie, Gary, Chaba, what up? And I never thought I'd be in this position. I never thought I'd be in the position of getting back to this program and introducing my little brother, my father, and my son on the program. But now that we are here and we've come all this way, I just want to point out this show and the viewers have made me a better person overall, and making sure that I remembered I could believe in myself and represent something that everybody was going to enjoy. Thank you so much, everyone, over the years.
And Israel Gutierrez, FaceTime.
Tony, there's two major things that I've learned over 17 years of being on the show, and it's the importance of authenticity and the power of tears. So I'm just going to say some things that are on my mind, and obviously it's bringing about some tears. Today, May 22nd, would have been my sister Alba's 44th birthday. She passed away last month, and one of the things that she was so constantly proud of me is watching me on this show. Heck, 2 of her kids were on this show with me for a second. And it just made me think about community and how much this show has created for me, for all of us. And no matter what happens, that's never going to go away, just like the memory of my sister is never going to go away. So thank you so much, and I love you all for it.
Tim Cowlishaw, one final FaceTime.
Oh, Tony, I want to thank the fans of this show, starting with all those that bought me all those shots, even if we had to shut that down after about 6 years. I want to thank ESPN for the opportunity that I did not seek and never expected to get back in 2002. I'd also like to say that while ESPN is currently gearing itself more towards hiring athletes instead of journalists, did you not see the 32 points I scored in an intramural game at UT? You want to wear my birdies at 8 and 16 at Augusta back in 2002? Seth Davis was there. He can vouch for them. The 5th grade spelling bee at Arapahoe Elementary in Richardson. You guys like spelling bees? Sorry to digress. It's been a wonderful 22-plus years on a show where I felt imposter syndrome every time I walked into this studio. I hope the people on the next show in this time slot have as much fun and bring as many smiles over the next 22 years. I'll be counting.
Evan Blackistone, FaceTime.
You know, Tony, I feel like the luckiest panelist because after our first few years, I left Dallas for my hometown of Washington, D.C., where the show is produced. So rather than just hear the people who make the show through the IFB in my ear, I got to meet them, I got to know them, and make friendships that will endure. Makeup artists like Jackie Walker and Renee Baldwin, James, Greg, Big Rob, Kevin, Tracy Roberts on the cameras, Mark Hancock, who set the standard for research that Carolyn Willett picked up and made us all sound so smart, and director Miriam Leger, for braiding my now teenage daughter's hair, for taking her to the frozen yogurt shop as a little kid, for showing her how to operate the board, for vacationing with us at the Newport Jazz Festival, for becoming Aunt Miriam, or family, which is what this whole production over more than a generation has become. So I thank you all for visiting our home, and I hope you enjoyed your stay.
Frank Isola, FaceTime.
Well said, Kevin. You know, this show decided 13 years ago that it needed a New York-based reporter, preferably someone loud and obnoxious. Why they chose me, I don't know. I don't see it. I'm sorry. I don't see it. But what a thrill it's been to work with some of the sports writing legends, some rising stars. Now, as my Italian brother from another mother, Tony, he refuses to reveal his favorite panels, but he's told me privately that his father was a fan. That meant a lot to me, because sadly, my father never saw me on HTH.
Yeah.
But he would have loved that the guy who loves to bust chops ended up being the most abused person on the show. And it wasn't just Plaschke and Woody and Tony that killed me. It was the women. Mina, she's America's sweetheart. She kills me. Same with Emily Kaplan. I knew her as a kid. Of course, Sarah Spain and even Courtney Cronin. And she's from the Midwest, where everyone is nice. And no one packed a punch quite like Jackie Mack. And I loved every minute of it. I hope the viewers did as well. We're debating sports, for crying out loud. So thank you to the producers, the control room, and of course, Tony Reali, who's got more energy than all of his beautiful kids put together.
Jackie MacMullan, FaceTime.
When Around the Horn and you, Tony, were young, people asked me, what about this flippant, wisecracking kid muting all these Hall of Fame writers? I would just smile. It was our little secret that the kid was often the adult in the room, snuffing out little fires born from jealousy or frustration, or some personal issue that required grace, not mutes. You managed our egos and idiosyncrasies and opinions as deftly as you orchestrated our chaotic show. You made us family. No wonder I shared my worries for you about my children. When I faced neck surgery with dire potential consequences, I confided in you how terrified I was. Some people will remember Woody's chalkboard, our crazy scoring system, our Halloween costumes. I will remember Anthony Joseph Paul Reali, the gatekeeper of a neglected family that may have lost its platform, but remains intact, thanks to you.
Bob Ryan, first to you.
When we came on the air November 4, 2002, the following things that were true are no longer true. Pitchers did not get ticker tape parades for going 7 innings. There was a thing called traveling. The so-called Euro step was confined to Europe and maybe South America. We knew who the heavyweight champion was. An American occasionally won a tennis major. The Curry making all those threes, his name was Dell. A guy named Tiger was winning every golf tournament. LeBron James was in high school. Caitlin Clark was 9 months old. And Woody Paige did not have a chalkboard. But life goes on, and we thank you for watching all these years.
Now a last trip to the J.A. Adande Lounge.
And there's a table here for Woody Paige. When Around the Horn started, Woody was the only one of us newspaper writers who understood it's a TV show, guys. He brought showbiz energy, and he even had a barrel full of props. He was so valuable that when he left the Denver Post, ESPN broke the rule that only writers at the partner newspapers could do the show. That meant I could stay on ATH after leaving the LA Times, and it allowed so many folks who never worked at newspapers to join us. We all owe you so much, Woody. Michael Jordan once told me that Woody was his favorite panelist. Game recognizes game, GOAT recognizes GOAT. Tony, ciao, grazie mille. JD, roll, take, track that. Aaron Solomon, I'll lay out forever. The Adande Lounge is now closed.
Bill Plaschke, a last FaceTime.
I said this 1,000 times for 22 years, and finally, for once, I'm right. It's over! But the magic around the horn will live forever in the memories of the millions who are touched by its laughter and tears in life. It will live forever in me, a simple sports hack who was muted to hell for 2 decades, but in that silence, I discovered a voice and found a family. For the last time, thank you, Eric and Aaron and Tony and Josh and Caroline and Tierney and Jeff and JD and Miriam and every control room hero who countlessly saved my butt. This wasn't just a TV show. It was a miracle. And may its legacy of wit and wisdom live forever.
And now, Woody Paige, a FaceTime for the ages.
20 years ago, as my daughter Shannon and I toured Ellis Island for an American history lesson in immigration, a family of 3 approached us. The wife told us they watched Around the Horn from TV trays at dinner daily at 5, and would I mind saying hello to their son Robert. So Robert and I talked for several minutes, then we all went and got ice cream cones. 2 weeks later, the father wrote me and thanked me, explaining that Robert had autism and enjoyed his time with me, and it impacted that entire family. I hope all of us at Around the Horn and all of you tens of millions of viewers in 178 countries have been changed for the good by this 23-year experience. I hope we have brought you sports and entertainment programming on this network, ESPN. I hope for everyone health, harmony, happiness, and hope for the future. Our FaceTime is over for you, but goodbye and good luck. Thank you all, and thank you, Robert.
I was 24 when I started on this show. I grew up on this show. This show helped me grow up. Maybe some of you feel the same way too. Life came fast, then slow as it does, gradually, then suddenly. I've shared through it all, the highs and lows, because I believe life is best when it's shared in full. And fullness has highs and lows. But another thing, it demands voice, not silence. So release the hold of a mute button and you'll find the real. There's my mute button. I keep it in my pocket right now. In looking for the real, I found something that was even realer than real. You shared back. Because to me, that's what made this show go. It's the connection. Sports is connection. We watch it from our youngest days. We laugh and we cry. We have these two faces in sports. We're like this, ooh, and we're like this, ah. And it connects us all. Sports connects people. People connect sports. And when it's genuine, it's the best thing in the world. But this was even better than that. The notes about your families and your notes about yourself where you opened up to me. That means most to me. So now I'm going to do something, and you're going to call me cheesy. I'm going to reach out my hand. And I want you just at home, everybody here, reach out the hand. Come with me. Come with me where it's real. More smiles to come. Connect at TonyReali.com, my new YouTube page, Team Reali, and even right this moment, I'll be on YouTube Live. Come by and say hello. Let me tell you what you mean to me. 23 years is a goated number. 4,953 episodes is more than Oprah and Letterman and Sesame Street. The debate goes on now without us, but you pick up where we left off. We have 20 seconds left. We're on an infinity and a half-hour break. I came into this world a stat boy. I'm going to leave it a stat boy. Thank you very much. Here are the final stats of the greatest sports debate show that scored of all time, Around the Horn.
Pardon the interruption, but I'm Mike Wilbon. What an amazing 23-year run by Around the Horn. Tone, what do you have to say to Tony Reali today?
And Tony Kornheiser, how do you still have your hair? Huh? We don't have any hair. How do you have your hair?
I just saw Reali's hair. I saw him in person here in New York City, Tony.
Oh, that's
Reali looks great, sounds great. You know,
yeah, I had him on my podcast this morning. He was terrific.
Did you?
He was absolutely terrific. Yeah, I did. Happy trails Around the Horn. For nearly 23 years, Around the Horn has led into PTI, and we could not have asked for a better partner program. ATH built up an audience and handed it off to us so we could hit the ground running every weeknight. 17 different Around the Horn panelists have substitute hosted this show at one time or another, and so many people behind the scenes have worked on both shows. We are so proud in particular of Tony Reali, who started here on PTI as a researcher in 2001 and continued as our beloved stat boy for so many years, even while hosting a show of his own. We love you, Tony. Thanks to you and Around the Horn for everything.
Tony, I just ran into Reali a couple of hours ago outside the Seaport studio, and I didn't want to get emotional. We had a big hug, and he kissed me on my head. But it was just great to see him. I'm sorry that everybody else isn't going to see him as frequently. Reali is so great at this. He hosted more shows than Oprah, okay? So we love Tony Reali. We are friends with a great many of the guests, as you mentioned, on Around the Horn. Cheers forever and ever and ever more.
Man, I was one of those kids. 7th grade was when the show came on because PTI came on 2 years before Around the Horn. And I would come home after school. That happy hour spot, 4 to 5 p.m. Central Time, was the same for the better part of 23 years. And what a legacy. Like, a show like that does not last 23 years unless it is impactful, unless it is iconic, and unless it is a well-oiled machine, which I remember early on when I was asked to come on. I just moved to Chicago. I was a couple months into covering the Bears, and they reached out saying, hey, would you like to be part of our rotation here? Because they had a studio. Of course, Sarah Spain was a big part of the show at the time. J. Adande, who I just did a show with a couple of hours ago. Like, so many people got a chance to launch their careers off of this. And I really was like, oh my God, of course, I'm all in. So to get to be a part of that and to get to have it be such a huge part of my career, because it never put me in a box. I was able to talk about so many different things on Around the Horn, whether it was the Bears when they were relevant to the show, whether there was news, regarding the team, the NFL at large, but also getting to, talk about the NBA, talk about baseball, talk about women's sports, talk about the NHL, social issues in sports that, certainly came up at times. It was the show that provided nuance to the conversation when everybody just wanted to have a take on something and come across as my take is louder and better than yours. Because I think in the sports media climate, we get caught up in that because, and I don't even want to give into the notion of people say things and do things for clicks. They do things for engagement. Some people do. Around the Horn never cared about that. And I truly think, and I know you mentioned, this gave, back in 2002 when it went on the air, it gave sports columnists, Jackie MacMullan, Bob Ryan, Bill Plaschke, Woody Paige, Tim Cowlishaw, Jerry Mariotti, people who were the ones giving educated opinion and opining about it in a way that made you a smarter consumer of sports. Those were the people who started Around the Horn. And I really appreciated that over the years, the show never tried to get away from that model. We had writers on this show. And I'm a writer. So much of my career, even getting into it, I was a broadcast person. Even now I do a lot of stuff, in the broadcast realm. At the core of it, you're a writer. And if you can write and turn a phrase and explain to somebody why something matters and provide the nuance behind it where it's not a black and white issue or it doesn't, it becomes an issue that has so many more layers after you dive into it, then I think you've done your job. And I will never, ever forget the opportunity and the platform that show gave me to bring that part of my career to light and to get to share that with people. And, obviously the opportunity as a panelist, but also the opportunity to hone my hosting chops and fill in for Tony, who is an absolute icon in his own right. I'll miss it. I'll miss it greatly because it feels like a death that I've been grieving in real time, watching the show come to its final days. We've got about 2 months. I just noticed it. 2 months from the day, May 23rd, I believe, will be the last Around the Horn. And it's tough to think about that. It hasn't hit me yet. I'm sure as we get closer, I'll definitely be feeling the pending end even more. But I'm just so grateful for it because this is a platform that I never, when you're watching the show growing up, you always dream that that's cool. I want to chop it up with these people too. I want to come in and give my opinion and talk about things and with context. And getting to do that for the last 3.5 years has been the opportunity of a lifetime for me in my career.